faster than any crypto hits go. Let me spend everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots. If I miss off, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall.
Hello, and thank you so much for watching week 6 of this premiere set from the Draft League. Today we have quite an interesting match for you with Life of the Afterparty versus the Kingslayers. I'm Jeffrey and I'm here with Joy.
Hello and good afternoon to everyone tuning in today. As we get into picks and bans, a Guan coming out from the Kingslayers, but Scotty, this is an interesting pick. I don't believe she received any buffs in the 9.11 patch, but coming out as first pick, I imagine this has to be a targeted ban.
Yeah, I would assume so, because if anything, I think Skadi is coming out a little bit worse after this new patch. Hades and Guan Yu and the Ishtar are obviously pretty standard bans though so far. So well, it's funny to look at the Skadi being banned. I'm wondering what else they're gonna get banned here.
It could be they're just trying to leave up something specific for themselves, hoping that the enemy team will not be banning it. But Pele, another god with some immense early pressure and quick mobility, being able to move around the map really fast, able to impact the game. So understandable why that would be banned out in the first phase of bans.
Yeah, as we see Yamoja being the last ban for now, obviously a very strong support over here, at least mostly played in the sport. In the SPL today, we saw something else, but that's besides the point. But then again, without being able to buy beats and ages at the same time, we see a lot of shells, and you do have that Phantom Shell against the Emoja, but I still think it's a solid ban.
And with the emoji being banned, arguably the second most powerful support that you can have being locked in by Life of the After Party is this Khepri. Just, I've said it a million times at this point, but such an incredible god for your team fight for your early phase pressure. But the Achilles counter pick, picking and execute right into the Khepri, uh, obviously, the ultimate interaction, Khepri uses the Scarab's Blessing, Achilles can execute the target, no revive off the Scarab's Blessing. It's a tale as old as time. But what do you think about picking your solo laner this early on? It kind of gives the enemy team a good idea of what they're going to be dealing with.
Yeah, it definitely does give them an idea, and they can pick around it. But then again, I think Achilles is just such a well-rounded, all-rounder pick that it you can get away with it pretty easily. As well as this Achilles, in some way, is a flex pick. Of course, you could play him in support. I think that's less weird to say than, for example, Pele mid what you offered the last set we did together, if I do remember correctly. But yeah, Achilles against the Capri is always good. There's no worse feeling than thinking can get back to the safety of your Huckbuck and you just get executed.
That truly is the worst feeling. And another powerful hunter, we saw a lot of nerfs to hunters that were being flexed into the mid lane, such as Amazon Cobb, but Cernanos still being picked up here. I think definitely still a viable hunter to be played, whether it be in the mid or the duo lane. Such a good team fight presence with that polymorph on his ultimate. And speaking of team fight, Daji and Amaterasu, two gods that have incredible ability to get in there, burn beads, cause absolute mayhem for the enemy team. So I'm really excited to see how well these gods will perform because they are very execution heavy. But if any team can do it, Life of the After Party would be one of them that could pull off a high execution draft.
Yeah, I am a big fan of Darchi myself as well. It's just the amount of control you have with the ultimate as well. You force so many beats, so that also means your enemies kinda can't buy ages as they need a beats against Darji. as well as what you were saying, the team fight presence. Ama just able to get in there always, having the opportunity to get a 5-man stun if people group up too much, and just the AoE auras from her one as well, just massive whenever you are grouped up.
Yeah, Daji definitely a strong pick. And another god that sort of forces you into certain relics. Ymir almost always guarantees the enemy team will be picking up at least one phantom shell. Those walls can be oh so brutal once that wall is leveled up to max. It sticks around forever, cutting off pathways through the jungle. Ymir is definitely a thorn in the side of any enemy team he is up against.
Yeah, putting up a wall for 6 seconds, and so far, Life of the Afterparty doesn't have any picks that can jump over it by themselves. Darchi, of course, kinda can, but she will need an ally or an enemy to be close to get over that wall. And Ymir also has like one of the longest stuns in the game. Such good crowd control and mobility. I love him. It's yeah.
Yeah, definitely understandable. A lot of recent favorites, as we see being locked, hovered rather. Scylla, somebody who received a recent buff, allowing her to do more damage to minions, really just secures up that weak early game that Scylla is almost notorious for, and allows her to get to that I'm a monstrous late game even faster. So Scylla is in such a good spot right now. Not surprised to see it locked in. And as we took just a quick mention of all the other bands, Vulcan, Chrono, or Vulcan, Cupid, and Ninja gods that were frequently being banned out or picked up, but Kronos a little bit of a new rising star with some of the buffs that he received. So that's why all those picks were locked in, and a soul being hovered now. This could be interesting, as it could be an ADC soul or a mid lane soul. We don't have a carry nor mid lane for the Life of the After Party squad, and
Well, and even with Anho being picked up here, it's still flexible between the two who goes where. Although with the new patch, I would assume myself that this Anho will go towards the duo lane, as I think he just gets better to his right with the recent nerfs towards mid lane hunter builds.
yeah. So with that, we have concluded the draft phase for game 1 of Life of the After Party versus the Kingslayers. We will be right back shortly when we get into game number 1.
And welcome back to Game 1 of Life of the Afterparty versus the Kingslayers in this premiere set. We are about ready to get started, as I was actually wrong, and it is an on her mid and Soul in the ADC role.
Yeah, Soul can just be such a potent ADC with her passive. Auto attacks dealing so much damage, especially with this Mannequin Scepter she has built. And it looks like Banana might be stepping up to cause a little havoc at Life of the Afterparty's purple buff. But he steps away, thinking better of it.
Yeah, he was a little late. I think you can try and go for it as Yume, but decided to just play it safe. That does mean that Churn gets the buff alone though, which will give him a little bit extra of XP and gold.
Yeah, getting your ADC to level 2 as quickly as possible really has been the name of the game recently in the Smite dual lane meta. So not too bad to see the support still at level 1 while the carries are at level 2, but a little bit of a skirmish in the jungle.
Yeah, a little bit of a skirmish indeed, as Osiris does leave the mid lane and will go towards solo. I haven't even spoken about Osiris jungle, by the way, as he is going aggressive, blinking in, and will get the first blood here quite freely. Amaterasu falling down within the first minute, as in duo lane. There's also already trouble. Capri, does he have to pull up? He does not. So Ymir gets to live another day, but in the backline, this Dachi is coming in. Blinking in, will do some mayhem of her own. Ymir in a big trouble, will fall down to the Soul, and it's a 1-for-1. That's two quick kills on the board already.
And that's exactly what you can see from these two junglers. Valyouuu and Midman are so crucial for both of these teams. Getting active, impacting the map. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few minutes we see them ganking again, as that's just what both of these junglers are looking to do. A little interesting, though, is the Amaterasu definitely have to favor ganking her, though, as it looks like we've got a bit of a scuffle in the duel lane.
Yeah, this Soul is hitting hard already. That passive's doing wonders for her. As Midman might be in a little trouble. Stun doesn't connect, so I think they will get out for now. Ama just dashing away, but this... they're still looking for Midman. And now, actually, the speed buff might get invaded by Osiris. Haven't even really spoken about this Osiris with Mannequin. Having a lot of early pressure. Going full on for this speed buff. Midman going in. Will secure their own speed buff, but at what cost as they get stunned now? Osiris having a lot of early pressure. But Midman will get out for now with the extra movement speed from her too.
But these back camps belong to Valyouuu now. And I'm curious to see if he'll be able to keep up that pressure on the enemy back camps. It's so dangerous to be in so deep in the enemy jungle, but those back camps are such a huge reward in keeping the enemy jungler out of the game, as he's looking back on this Ama again.
Ooh, he's coming back in. Ama thought she had the upper hand, but no, Osiris is here, but actually, Ama turning it around again. Two people with very low HP in front of her. This Osiris will fall down, and now Achilles has a double kill for Ama. What a play! Hitting level 5 of that. That's 2 kills for none.
And as I was gonna say earlier, ganking an Amaterasu, it can be such a... You know, her dash is easily body blockable, and she really has to scale and get to the late game to have an impact. She's not one of the gods that you tend to think about early game as. No, not quite a fight breaking out in duo, but Amaterasu tends to be one of the more late game focused god. And seeing her put behind early made a lot of sense to me. But unfortunately, when you give up that double kill, it just gives her a chance to get ahead and get to that late game a little bit faster, as now we see her being about a level up with her 2-1 slash lane over Uller one trick.
Yeah, I think Valyouuu was just underestimating the minions there with Uller one trick being low already and not being able to get back in. And minions hurting so much at this low levels. And yeah, it just didn't work out for him, and now Emma might just get to be a problem as she finished her item already as well. The Golden Blade, making her able to clear this wave so much faster, and I don't know if you can gank her for like the next few minutes. As we see another buff attempt, invade attempt here at the red buff, doesn't quite get it this time. Soul being out of mana, but under the safety of her tower. Ymir though, it might be in a bit of trouble. Daji going in. Capri being there as well gets the huck off. Honor ulting, and Ymir will fall down to Sehost. That's a good kill, but on the other side of the map, Amaterasu trying to hold out, but Valyouuu going after. I'm a monster coming out. The stun connecting, and you love to see those I'm a monster kills. A good rotation from the mid laner.
And that's exactly what you can expect out of Wingman. He's such a veteran player, knows when to rotate, and again, shutting down an Amaterasu, making sure she can't hit the late game is going to be so crucial for life of the Afterparty.
Ooh. Valyouuu is at it again, going for the speed buff. He will actually get it this time. That's a big bummer for midman. As we see Sehost out of mana, but I don't think anyone is going to aggress on him for now. Just a bit of calm before the storm, as we notice for now. As maybe looking for another invade, as Untitled is low and his blue buff just spawned. Amaterasu being 2 levels up already and full HP, but looking at the jungle, the entire team of Kingslayers, except for this churn, is close. And Anna might find herself in a bit of trouble. Ymir wall is a little bit off, as she will just be able to dash out now, and they will secure their own blue buff. In the duo lane though, we see Soul fighting with Churn on pretty even terms for now. What do you think about this matchup, Soul versus Churn?
I mean, Soul with the Mannequin Scepter and the Bancrofts already online, I imagine she just boxes so well. As we see Square stepping up, dealing some damage. But
tower dive here. Yes, as Untitled falls down once again. Valyouuu is there, but no, everyone has backed already. It's pointless. And now this Amma is getting a massive lead.
Yeah. Up 3-2 in the kills department. Yeah. Item builds look to be about the same, but a 1-level lead coming out over Uller one trick. So he got, and I mean, if you look at the gold lead though, there really isn't any. This game is still so even, despite the 5-2 slashline in favor of Life of the Afterparty. So both these teams doing a really good job of just, despite dying, getting their farm, playing through leads where they have them, and doing what they can to stick in this game at the 8-minute mark. But Valyouuu coming behind Nut here.
Nut might be in a bit of trouble. Soul does have a lot of safety, but is it going to be enough? It does seem to be enough for now, but had to burn the ult. It's a bit of a bummer. Does keep the beats up, and that's pretty big for her. As we see proxy farming Amma over here. Yeah, this solo lane must feel very rough, as Ullert one trick is dead once again, actually. Didn't even notice that before.
It looks like his teleport's down too, so he's got a long walk back to the solo lane. And man, this is not where you want to be if you're on an Achilles against an Amaterasu. 3 levels down, that's so brutal. Wingman, the only other character who has also been able to reach level 10. So we see where these leads are kind of forming, as now Sehost also reaches level 10. But man, right now, I gotta give this to Life of the Afterparty. I feel like their team composition scales really well, and just being this far ahead is gonna be such a boon.
Yeah, the only one we see behind a little bit in XP is this Dachi or Midman. Probably also because of these speed invades from Valyouuu. But is it going to be enough, as Midman is doing so much to get his people in, well, his teammates ahead in this game? Of course, the farm that Valyouuu is prioritizing for now is helpful as well. But is it going to be enough? That's the big question.
Yeah, and it looks like Ruler One Trick was under a bit of duress again, despite Valyouuu being around, but nothing really going to come out of it.
No, he's got that the Soul Eater fully stacked now, which is going to help him survive a little bit more than before. But 2 levels is rough. As who we actually see a solo kill here in the duo lane. Good job Square. That's all I can say about that. Fight here in the mid lane. Ymir going into the ult that makes you have 3 targets, falling down really quickly with his unhurled. I'm a monster. Ooh, just barely not connecting on midman here. Valyouuu still looking here as the Pyromancer is being pulled by Life of the Afterparty. Pyromancer going down to Life of Afterparty, but is Kingslayers going to let that go? No, they will not, as Capri ulting, the Scarab's Blessing. Oh, the execute's getting blocked. Scarab's Blessing going off. This Amaterasu saving the life of her support, but at what cost? Midman getting a kill on the Scylla in the background. Will LoneWolfFTW finally fodder? He will, but now it's a 2v3 here. Honor boiling down on Uller One Trick as Amaterasu just gets the kill on Valyouuu and Sehost gets the kill on Uller One Trick, and that's a 1 for 3. Plus the Pyromancer towards Life of the Afterparty. Big W for them.
Absolutely. Marge and LoneWolfFTW did a huge job in that fight. LoneWolfFTW extending her life, making sure that despite the fact that she did fall, Valyouuu did fall in return, her team being able to pick up that trade kill, and Marge as well being able to just body block the fatal strike from Achilles, protect the president for the support. You'll love to see it, but it looks like FinnaNut about to be caught out here.
Ult being forced once again by Banana here on FinnaNut. It's just what you love as Ymir, just forcing relics or ultimates with one simple freeze. But yeah, I think, like as you were saying a little bit, in that fight, really, really well played by Life of the Afterparty. But you gotta keep in mind, if that I'm a Monster connects onto midman in the beginning, that fight's looking so much different. As we go into a new fight here, it's, well, you cannot even really call it a fight, as Valyouuu just get executed by this Dachi. Getting some help from the Amaterasu. And once again, that's another kill for Life of the Afterparty. They're looking very solid in this game so far.
Yeah, Life of the Afterparty doing some major work, approaching a 4,000 gold lead and 6,000 in the experience department. And most of the time we see Valyouuu managing to stay ahead of the enemy jungler, but he's just fallen a few too many times at this point in the game, and falling now to a 2-level lead. Man, Midman is just doing it all. He's affected 8 of 11 kills so far, picking up 3 for himself. He's just really being able to impact this game. Smart ganks, knowing where the enemy is, as Valyouuu might be looking to pick up a kill here.
Will Amaterasu finally be in a bit of trouble? Ymir while coming out blocking himself, actually. Running away with the speed that Amaterasu provides. Valyouuu missing the ult just barely, but it still has a good opportunity chasing. Gold Fury will fall down to Life after Party because of this chase, but they will get a kill in return. Getting this shutdown on this Ama is pretty important, but losing a Gold Fury for it, I don't think that's worth it for them.
I can't imagine it is, as the lead is now about 4,500 gold for Life of the Afterparty. And again, the front line of Life of the Afterparty doing such an amazing job of getting the most out of their lives, realizing that they probably are going to die in these situations, but realizing that, hey, my team's on the other side of the map getting an objective. As long as I can keep everybody still chasing me, my team should have a very free Gold Fury. Well played by the front line of Life of the Afterparty, extending their lives and allowing their team to get the most value out of their deaths.
Yeah, and as we're looking at this Soul, what I find so interesting, she is the only one who is, in XP-wise, a little bit behind towards her opponent here with the Churnanos with Square. We actually saw Square also, of course, solo killing the Soul before, but looking at the tower from Churn, from Square, is like completely gone already. The rising star of this Soul, like with the passive, she's being called Soul the Tower Destroyer for reasons. That is insane.
Yeah, and she's not even really building a traditional ADC build. You would almost think that's a more of a mid lane build. We see the Bancross, uh, Book of Thoth coming out. I wonder what the next one is. Maybe a Polynomicon. We'll have to see. But Square might be
Ooh.
caught out here if he didn't get his back off in time, which he
Squ-
did.
Square just backing in time, and where Midman, Lone Wolf, and Nuts were there to catch him off guard if he had stayed just a few seconds longer. He must be counting his lucky stars and his wall placement to live there.
Yeah, most definitely. It's always so nerve-wracking when you're backing and then you see the enemy team running at you. But just a sigh of relief as, again, Valyouuu scrapping it up in the jungle.
Valyouuu boxing down on his Amma, being 3 levels down as the Scarab's Blessing comes out, but like we said before, an execute will not save you from it. As in the duo lane we actually get a kill again, but for now we're looking here at Dachi pulling back in the Uller 1 trick, but he will fall down instantly after that pull. Obviously, with Sehost being there as well, this on her, with already having Quince online as well, doing massive amounts of damage. Pyromancer being pulled, and I don't think they can do much about this.
Banana is stepping up though, but a good route out of LoneWolfFTW to make sure that he isn't able to intervene. You know, I have to, despite the Pyromancer still falling, and especially if Square is able to pick up this tier 2 tower, I have to give that exchange in favor to the Kingslayers, as it looked like a little bit of action happening in the mid lane, but not quite the fight that we were hoping for. But Life of the Afterparty, 2 of their highest experienced members do fall in that fight, and Uller One Trick does fall for the Kingslayers, but at this point he's 1 in 5. You're not too worried about him taking a spill, but when you're able to take somebody down from Life of the Afterparty, that is going to be a huge windfall of gold into your pocket. And tier 2 towers are worth quite a bit as well, so really not a bad exchange for the Kingslayers.
Yeah, especially if you are already behind a little bit. Getting anything is great, especially so if you are even in a fight, you're already lucky, but winning a fight, that's pretty big. I don't know how Uller One Tricks thinks about this though, as he's looking in a little bit of trouble again. That's tanky enough to win, to live for now, as Amma will actually leave him BM back. In the mid lane here, we do see a bit of grouping. ADC already going well to go with his jungler and the mid laner. They're looking if they can find anyone. Banana being the closest person, but I think he's on a safe enough distance. Lots of pinks coming out here though, as in the mid lane, I don't think Valyouuu have seen them. Unerstan coming out. Ooh, Crush. Oh, that massive amount of damage from Crush though. Midman will have to get out. As for now, this fight seems to be over, but for how long? As Capri... No, 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 no. Capri is not going for it. Square coming in now as well.
What a good route to make sure that Square wasn't able to enter the fight there.
Definitely. As we see the Trebuchet pushing up. Are they going to push with it? Not for now. Actually, Hanna finding herself in a bit of trouble here. Gets double ulted and will fall down. Once again, big for the Kingslayers, but they might lose a gold fury here as it's an armor and a soul on it together. They have vision, but is it enough? In response, actually, they just say, fuck it, go for Fire Giant. Sorry, excuse my language, but this might be really big for them to come back into the fight. I'm a Monster will confirm it, but at what cost, as Dachi goes into the Paolao. Will pull, but will not kill, as everyone from the Kingslayers lives and gets the Fire Giant. That's a 1 kill and you win fire and you only lose Gold Fury. They are completely back into this game now.
Yeah, a little bit of a gold disadvantage for Kingslayers, but I imagine they'll be able to sure that up once they start taking down some towers with this Fire Giant, if that is the route that they are going to take, which I imagine it will be.
It
So
seems so, as they're grouping up in solo lane here. Amma did teleport in to try and hold him back a little bit, but I don't think she has much to say with 1v3 here. Midman coming to help though, and they're actually all backing, so it will stay at a tier 1 for now.
Understandable. There's still plenty of time for this fire giant, and there's still 3 more towers to take down on the map for Kingslayers. So understandable that they're not willing to rush in and possibly lose some of those precious fire giants that can help them get back into the game. As for now, though, I still feel like Life of the Afterparty are in such a good position. I mean, a late game Amaterasu and 2 hunters on the team. It's just such a difficult team to fight against late game. But Kingslayers are doing their best to get back into this, as they are now only less than 2.5 gold behind. So will they be able to shorten up this gold lead? I'm curious to see.
Yeah, and this late into the game, experience is not going to do that much anymore. We see a 2 difference between the support, but Ymir will always stay Ymir. The freeze will just last a little bit less long. The wall be up a little bit less long, but he's still doing stuff, at least if he hits the freeze. Tower will fall down though, so job still done. As we see everyone grouped here, the fight's waiting to happen, but the team's just staring each other down for now. What do you think about this? Well, I mean, the XP isn't going to matter much from now on.
As instead, looks like we've got a team fight.
Sorry, yeah, hold that thought as Square gets pulled back in by Midman. Midman getting the first kill. Banana finding himself in trouble as well. The ults, but nothing comes with that. Crush will hit, but on the 2 tanks, so it won't be quite enough to kill. And now you lose 2 people with that precious fire giant. One of them being your ADC. Valyouuu split pushing though, but wisely so backing quickly as he gets spotted by the tower and immediately 4 people come towards him. Saw him back as well, so instead opt to go for the Pyromancer, and we'll get that pretty freely here.
Yeah. Fire Giant buff still on 3 for the Kingslayers, Uller, One Trick, Valyouuu, and Wingman, but the one you really wanted on is your Hunter, who unfortunately fell. Square would have been able to melt down some of these towers extra speedy quick with the Fire Giant buff, and just like that, we're back to a 4,000 gold lead for Life of the Afterparty. Just so punishing off the back of 1 team fight with only 2 picks, able to get about 2,000 gold back ahead of the Kingslayers. This team is really just making Kingslayers pay for every little mistake they make. One little overstay, and they're able to completely turn the momentum of this game around, which is oh so important.
Yeah, when your beats are down and you get stuck to one of those chains from the Paolao, there's nothing much you can do as a squishy. Of course, the Ymir tried to help him, falling down in the process as well, but Square just got deleted there, as he finds himself in a bit of trouble again. Wingman there to help him, but the Paola comes on once again, and there is another pull on Square. Will fall down to Nut, as they are not done yet, looking at Ymir with a great wall to save his own life.
Unfortunate for Square, this is the 2nd time he's been pulled, and beads are still down. Luckily, his beads will be back up the next he responds, but right now is when his team needs him. The FG is about to spawn, and without a hunter to be there, I mean, it'll be really difficult. It'll really put the burden on Wingman if the Kingslayers team would like to show up and perhaps chance a steal. I mean, I'm a Monster is a great ability to be able to steal with, but I don't like my chances up against this Life of the Afterparty team who's been playing so cleanly for the most part up until this point.
Yeah, looking at secure, you definitely give it to the Kingslayers, but what is there to secure if you just get pushed out, as Fire Giant is being pulled by Life of the Afterparty here. Valyouuu knowing, but they know where he is. Fire Giant actually already very low. They do got the double hunter composition, burning it down pretty fast, but one of those hunters in a lot of trouble with Sehost here, being dunked on by the Osiris, but Osiris falling down as the Fire Giant will fall down to the Soul Ult here, as the Life of Afterparty get it. Banana on 1 HP, very low, will fall down here to the Amaterasu Ult, getting the double kill already, looking for the triple, as Uller One Trick falls down as well to Midman going this time. And that's full for 0, and they get the Fire Giant. Looking at the tier 2, and they might even be looking to end here. It is a risky call if they go for it, since like there's still 2 towers up and 3 phoenixes. But that's 20 seconds before anyone spawns, except for this Churnanos. And then you only got a Ymir, so I think you might be looking at it.
I mean, you have a Shogun, you have 2 ADCs, you have an Amaterasu.
Ooh.
The damage is here. They are
And
stepping
looking
in.
at it, they are. Can Square do anything? A great ult coming out, but the beats was up for the Amaterasu, I believe, here. As the Paolau comes out, Ymir is respawn now. Sehost killing the Ymir as the Titan is already falling down. I think Daji last second got a kill of herself as well. Game 1 towards Life of the Afterparty looked very clean.
Yes, that last team fight, man, that was so just Life of the Afterparty. I guess knowing the damage, just being able to step away from the Fire Giant with Ascilla still up on the map. I'm a monster and Shards of Ice still not able to secure the Fire Giant, and I imagine it was Nut that walked up, dropped his ult on the Fire Giant, able to secure that. But man, that last fight was really something.
Yeah, to me, the only thing that kept Kingslayers in this game for that long was Square, and also Valyouuu a little bit, but mostly Square in the end. And him being picked twice by this dodge shield just did like it just necked him. And Life of the Afterparty getting that Fire Giant, just brushing down the Titan, great win for them, honestly.
Yeah. We'll see if Life of the Afterparty are able to keep rolling, or if Kingslayers will be able to turn it around for a game 2. We will be right back shortly to get into picks and bans.
And welcome back to Picks and Bans of Game 2 from Life of the Afterparty versus the Kingslayers. Life of the Afterparty took Game 1. I'm Jeffrey, I'm here with Joy, and I'm looking forward to Game 2.
Yes, me too. And I have to imagine that a Daji ban will be coming out here. Man, Midman just had such a game on that Daji. What a menace. I mean, those late game team fights really came down to being able to get a pull onto Square when his beads are down. And to be fair, Kingslayers are first pick, so if the Daji isn't banned, they can pick it up for themselves. But man, I don't want to see that pick passed back to Life of the Afterparty. That's gonna be scary if it happens.
It definitely will, as so far we see very similar bans to Game 1. Actually, I think it are the exact same bans as Game 1. I was a bit confused as sides obviously did switch, so I thought they might switched around, but no, they banned the same picks as they did in Game 1 so far. But the first difference with Tor being banned now.
And also a Pele. Man, I feel like with all these junglers being banned out, you almost have to pick up the Daji here, which feels like such an uh you really don't want to be picking Daji first pick unless you absolutely know that you'll be building a beads burning comp where the Daji will be able to thrive, because then the enemy team's able to pick up CC immune ults and such, immunities in the base kits, but instead in Ishtar.
And Horus for the other side, as I'm the Churnano is actually being picked away from Square here. That will go down to probably not, unless we see Sehost taking it in the mid lane again. But yeah, we see Ishtar this time. She was banned out last game. I wonder if it's going to Square or if it's going to Wingman in the mid lane. But both of them should probably get pretty good work of it. What do you think of the CERN versus Ishtar lane up if they both go towards the dual lane?
I mean, both hunters are relatively safe with their dashes and whatnot. Really effective team fight ults. I have to imagine it'll come down to execution from both of these hunters. And interestingly enough, both able to augment their auto attack. So, in a way, really similar kits from both of these hunters. So, I would imagine it will come down to execution. But I want to talk about Midman's Horus. I can't imagine Midman is willing to give up his signature Horus. We have seen it so many times this season, and it has been stopped a few times. But if Midman is able to roll on this Horus, it is a thing of beauty, absolute art. I'm really hoping he's able to get the ball rolling on this pick because, man, it is beautiful to watch.
He definitely is. And that also means that the Kingslayers can be a little bit less worried about a jungler now. Although this Horus, especially for Life of the Afterparty, is a big flex pick, as we see two Guardians actually being locked in here with Ganesha and the Qing Shen. That's surprising to me. Um, for the banning phase, though, no more flexibility in that case, since, well, I assume none of them will go towards the mid lane. And Cabrakan for Life of the Afterparty here. No junglers yet.
Yeah.
Well,
Cabrakan is such a good high pressure support, just really able to help snowball. So in a lane matchup where execution is really important, you can just throw that out the window if you have a 3-level lead, and Cabrakan can deliver a 3-level lead to your ADC on a silver platter if you're able to get rolling. So understandable why that Cabrakan is picked up though. And Xingqian and Ganesha also interesting. I mean, Ganesh is a extremely capable support, especially into a Horus. If Horus dashes in, then gets silenced, he really isn't able to use any of his kit, and he kind of just stands there looking silly. So, understandable why this Ganesh was picked up. And Jing Tian, just a little safer in the soul lane, a little tankier for the Kingslayers. So, perhaps they're just looking to not get so far behind into the solo lane and have a big impact come team fight time on this Xing Tian.
yes, as Life of the Afterparty ban out the Daichi themselves, they do not want to face what they did to the Kingslayers last match. That kind of confirms for me that this horse will go towards the jungle. As we were looking towards the last two picks here, Kronos and Cupid, by the way, being banned out again by the Kingslayers here, as Vulcan, who is also a standard ban, is being banned out by the Life of the Afterparty. Looking towards the last two picks from either team here, we still need a jungler for the Kingslayers. As for Life of the Afterparty, what do you think they might get here? Well, are you being locked in? A bit late on that question.
Yeah, again, double hunters. I imagine the Sononos will be headed towards the mid lane, as I haven't really seen a whole lot of Hu Yi in the mid lane, more of one of your standard hunters, but a god that received a little bit of buffs recently, being hovered as and then locked in, is this Gilgamesh. I'm excited to see how this Gilgamesh will function. It's a god that's really capable of absolutely bullying somebody out of the game, just making somebody's life absolutely miserable. If you want a god that can make somebody not want to return to their lane, Gilgamesh is one of them. But Athena being hovered now,
Athena being the quite opposite, with being able to get back to lane very quick if she decides to ult in. Great help and a great support. As do you think this, if this Athena gets locked in, will it go towards the solo lane or will it go towards the support, as it of course can flex together with the Skabrakan?
you know, I have a feeling it would be Athena solo. Given her ability to rotate out, it's going to be really difficult for Jingtian to follow her. But it looks like for now, LoneWolfFTW is holding on to the Athena. So it looks like it will be Athena support. And with that, we conclude picks and bans for game number 2. And we'll be headed into game number 2 of Life of the Afterparty versus Kingslayers shortly. We'll see you soon.
And welcome back to game 2 of Life of the Afterparty versus the Kingslayers. We actually see a little role swap here, as IamFinnaNut takes the Kraken into the solo lane, switching with Margiela, who now plays Hunter this match.
Yeah, always interesting to see when teams role swap if they are able to pull it off successfully. It's a big risk, but it could really throw a monkey wrench into the plan of the enemy teams. I mean, you get used to laning against a certain opponent, and then all of a sudden you're playing against somebody completely different game 2. It's really interesting. I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out.
And so am I, Joy. As in the dueling here, we see Square hitting 2 a little bit faster, prioritizing to get the dash as a second ability, and now that's a lot of pressure, getting both Margiela and LoneWolfFTW to half HP as well, but they will hit 2 in their turn before Banana will get there, as Banana did not help with the support buff. And the double tap will get Square lower than Margiela ever was this game so far. Bit of pressure though, as Banana dashes in, and they're just testing each other out so far. Kingslayers win the pressure though if it comes to wave clear.
Yeah, and it looks like there might be a bit of contention at this scepter. And As Kingslayers pick up the Scepter, it looks like they'll also pick up Oracles, so early lead for the Kingslayers in that department, but really won't mean much later on. At least it shouldn't.
It's funny that you say that, as they're a little bit behind in gold, actually, looking at the top. It's only 100 or so, but they won 2 neutral objectives. It's weird to see them behind. As we're looking in this mid lane, Valyouuu being a bit low on this Gilgamesh. And in the duo lane, Banana going in aggressive once again. Ooh, the dash just off the mark from Square. That might have been great on this Haoyi, as Haoyi gets the stun off on the Ganesh. Just poking each other, no real kill threat so far, but it's interesting to see them test each other out.
Yeah, both these supports are rather low on mana, and usually that's where you see a lot of your kill pressure come from, is set up from your supports. So I think we may have a little bit of quiet time over in the duo lane with not a lot of pressure. But Hui and Ishtar, both gods with CC in their kit, they can set up for themselves. So maybe not, but for now, both teams just get to get their purple buffs. And as we look over into the duo lane, or solo lane rather, a different story from game number 1. Ullr One Trick is so healthy, almost full HP, and Nut below half. So Ullr One Trick definitely having a better start so far than he was game 1.
Yeah, that was what I was already a bit worried about in these picks and bans. As a Bracken, obviously your biggest wave clear is going to come from these Tremolos, and both the Ching as the Ganesh have quite a good way to stop it. And you see what he pays for it with half his HP bar, as in the duo lane, there's Midman blinking in, looking for a pick, as first blood will probably fall down here to the life of the Afterparty. Banana dying, Midman getting first blood. Good gank.
And as we said, Midman, such a aficionado on this horse, able to make sure that he wasn't affected by the Ohm, not getting silenced out, as WingmanGhost under a little pressure now.
Oh, Wingman. I mean, Midman once again being Ephra, being knocked under tower though, but Horus does have a lot of safety by being able to go towards his teammates and healing in the process. So Sehost and Midman will get out for now, as Square is looking low on the HP bar as well, being both half mana, half HP, but still running up here to Margiela. I am not sure about this. The Mar coming out. So Margiela is like, keep distance from me or I will get you, as the stun comes out now. Ultimate available, not being used just yet, as Square does have a pretty big dash on this Ishtar to get out. But that will be a scepter to Haoyi, unless Square can do something about it.
Yeah, Square unfortunately just feeling the weight of that pressure, not being able to contest this neutral objective. But Banana is inbound.
The ultimate coming out, the purification beats being used, as Haoyi gets blocked off for a second by the killers. It will not be enough though, as LoneWolfFTW ulted in from the solo lane. Square being fine. That's a bummer for LoneWolfFTW here, as they do not get a kill. Athena here though, as I think the scepter is not being picked up yet and looking for an invade. Maybe, as Square is too low to confirm it herself. Banana is there to help, as Athena just staring them down. Meanwhile, Haoyi out of mana, so we'll be pressing the B button to go back to base. Athena going, and at that moment though, Square, living with a skin of her teeth, but now LoneWolfFTW might be in a bit of trouble. Not going too deep though, as Square, out of mana as well, might just die to minions alone. It's Valyouuu looking at Nut, Bracken ultimate coming out, but there is also the storm from this Gilgamesh ult, as they will confirm this kill pretty easily. That's a dumper again. as this game is pretty even so far. Square, meanwhile, hasn't still not back yet, still on this low HP, slow mana as a wolf is just staring them down. Will try to invade this buff. But Midman ulting in on this Horus, being silenced for now, and that will save Square. Banana doing God's work here as he saved his ADC.
Man, Banana and LoneWolffe have just been on it recently. LoneWolffe ulting in to the duo lane, getting the taunt out onto Square, and it was a beautiful shell coming out to save Square, and then LoneWolffe sticking around at this purple buff, sacrificing her own farm, not being able to leech as the soul laners are now going at
Group
it.
of being stolen. That is so rough for Bracken, as you use a lot of mana with these Tremolos. Now Ching also on the totem, as we see in his mid lane. Blue buff being confirmed pretty easily. Midman was looking at it for a second, and now he's going towards this duo lane. How Yield is down, but so is the dash from Square, as she will ult for the CC immunity, but falls down pretty easily to this Hao Yi. But now Midman might be in trouble. Hillis just barely not doing enough from Banana here. Obviously, it was only the support there against 3, but it must feel rough to not get a kill there and lose your ADC.
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of action coming out in this duo lane. We see Midman being able to ult in, and as with LoneWolffe as well. Global pressure on 2 gods coming out from Life of the Afterparty is really just something you're gonna have to game plan against. Just it's really hard to out-rotate a god that has this much pressure, as Wingman now falling low.
Wingman might be in a bit of trouble. The beat's coming out, but is it too late? As they are so low, but they will get out. Valyouuu going in with the ultimate, saving his mid laner. As Sehost now himself is in a bit of trouble, will fall down actually to Valyouuu. Midman is there just a little bit too late. But now Banana in the mix as well, as they might be looking to turn around once again. Valyouuu on low HP though, I don't know if they want to be there. Do have the level advantage on Midman, but they are full HP. And they will just leave each other alone for now, as we have a quick pause, so we will be right back with you. Alright, welcome back. As we have a quick pause, so we will be right back with you. 1 minute. 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 1 min
shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree.
And welcome back to Game 2 of Life of the Afterparty against the Kingslayers. So far, we have a pretty even game in this best of 3. What do you think about this, Joy?
We've been seeing a lot of pressure come out as... Hold that thought, Midman getting caught out a little bit.
Ooh, just barely escaping with the mobility that this horse has. The Kraken just barely being close enough to escape to with the heal from the 3. That's quite lucky. If you get ulted there by Uller One Trick, you are looking in a lot of trouble.
That is one thing about the Whirlwind Invasion Steel. If you're able to get out of it, it just feels so bad to just be sitting there, spinning your axe and not knowing that you aren't going to be able to catch anything in it. But once you do catch somebody, they're going for a ride. So Uller One Trick just has to keep his head in the game after that and just make sure that he's looking for the next one, not worrying about what happened there. But such a good play from Midman as Square's low.
Ooh, Square dashing in as Square, and just trying to dash out, also pressing on the ultimate to try and lift, but how he jumping on top of her, getting the stun to, well, silence the dash, and getting the solo kill in the duel lane. Quite impressive from Margiela here. And that's gonna help a lot in this duel lane with the pressure. We see a lot of grouping around here right now by the Kingslayers around this mid lane as LoneWolfFTW getting caught out just a little bit. Chernonow's ulting, but nothing much. Does save their support, so good on them by Sehost. And now they're just skirmishing once again, staring each other down a little bit. Sehost trying to poke, but not finding it for now, as this fight has died down.
With that Marge taking about a level and a half lead in the duel lane, I have to imagine it's going to be so much harder to gank them now, as we've seen a lot of pressure in that duel lane from both sides, support rotations and mostly from Life of the Afterparty jungle rotations. I have to imagine some of that activity is gonna die down now that a level lead has started to form in the favor of Life of the Afterparty. But Valyouuu, you never know. He likes to get active everywhere.
Ooh. Going at it once again as the ultimate by Square comes out again as well, but Margiela confirming it. How Yi doing wonders as he is free, now. And that means Square 0-3. Quite unexpected if you saw what kind of impact Square had last game. Bit unfortunate, I feel like, as the wash machine comes out here from Uller One Trick, connecting with no one once again as people went out, and the Gold Fury being confirmed here by Life of the Afterparty while that fight was going down. Is Kingslayers going to respond by this with a Pyromancer? It doesn't look like it just quite yet, and that's just a free Gold Fury for Life of the Afterparty.
Yeah, just good awareness to realize that Kingslayers were all grouped up around the Pyromancer, realizing that they had a really free Gold Fury. They had already picked up Square, so there was really no one able to contest that free Gold Fury. But an interesting little facet of this duel lane, Marge being able to build into crit, and Square not really as good of an option given the Hui passive only being able to be crit a certain amount of times. Crit makes it so much easier to box as an ADC, giving those random spurts of extra damage. It's just so much as Valyouuu hanging around the duel lane.
Yeah, with the Valyouuu passive of only being able to crit once every 3 seconds, I believe it is a bit of a sleeper pick lately, as crit has been going into the meta quite a bit. Haven't seen him around that much, as he will just get his own purple buff here, as so will Square, by the way, just looking at each other, and I think they will fight soon though. Grouping around mid though by Life of the Afterparty, as Midman just clearing waves together with his mid laner. LoneWolf being around there as well, and now he going on a bit of an adventure as he has, of course, the wave pressure. Will he help him mid? It doesn't seem like it just yet. We'll go back to wave. And we're going back to just staring at each other. LoneWolf keeping everyone from Kingslayers out of this mid lane for now. Valyouuu at the mid camps finding himself in a bit of trouble maybe. Will jump over the ult by Sehost as he ults for himself, and now the pillars come out as well, doing tons of damage. There is LoneWolf with the ultimate, getting a lot of protections out for his mid lane. Of course, Sehost will fall down in the end though. Took a lot of damage by Valyouuu, but now Valyouuu himself in a bit of trouble as the washing machine and the Kraken ult come out. Midman living by the skin of his teeth, and now what is happening as Kraken 1v4, but looking very strong. Valyouuu just barely coming out and a tower diving with this HP, and Kraken actually getting the 1-on-1-4-1 out of here with Banana falling down. But that's support for a solo laner, and then you value the support more. So I think that's very much worth for the Kingslayers here.
Yeah. As we saw last game, Kingslayers making a nice little resurgence in the mid game. They're really trying their best to stay in this, but Square under duress again.
Immediately the beats being burned on both sides now though, but I love the aggression this he is pulling out right now. Just whenever he sees any opportunity to get anything, they will jump on it immediately, and Square has absolutely nothing to say with this level lead that he has come. As they jump in once again, beats are down. So is the ultimate, but actually Square going in hard as the Aegis is being forced by the Valyouuu, and now they don't have any relics, and Square looking a lot more healthy with basically full HP against half.
But the fight doesn't seem to be over quite yet.
Valyouuu getting the stun, and now they're on even terms again with HP. Actually Square falling down. Athena ulting in for help, but also Banana staring them down from the sideline. Will the supports make any difference in this fight as Banana decides to go in, but Valyouuu is also there, blinks in, gets the dropkick on this Valyouuu. But Valyouuu has other sides as now Square is being forced to use the Aegis as well, go out with the ult. And it's actually Valyouuu that will not fall down as Valyouuu gets picked off. That fight was so incredibly close. I did not know who was going to get who until the end of it, if it even is over or yet, because actually Square didn't back, and Midman looking at it, Midman getting it. And now Banana being the last one alive over here in this duo lane for the Kingslayers. Well, not anymore as Midman gets a double kill. Clean fight once again by Life of the Afterparty. That looked so even, but in the end, they get the picks, and the Kingslayers don't.
And if you look, that Gold Fury is right about up as Wingman now.
And that's another one. That's 4 people down for the Kingslayers. Gold Fury just spawned. You would assume this is free as only Uller One Trick is close enough to contest this. But Midman standing in between him and the Gold Fury does jump over it with the blink, but Gold Fury is already down. And now he is in a lot of trouble. So Midman will get another kill. This is why we love him on this horse. This is why everyone loves him on this horse. It's a well-known fact he's a fan favorite, and rightfully so.
Holy CC Batman. That was a CC chain from 100 to 0. Man, Uller One Trick didn't have a chance. No beads in the build, no getting out. Unfortunately, maybe he's looking to build into a match guys to get that bubble and be able to get some CC immunity, but for now, looks like he traded that in for a breastplate instead. But
Square in trouble once again. That 4-level lead, it's unfightable as Square is 0-5 with Valyouuu being 5-0. I think Valyouuu just straight up killed Square 5 times. Getting the tier 1 down now, looking at the tier 2, this Valyouuu is a menace as level 18 is so big. You're even bigger than Midman is right now as Midman is pulling up some work as well. Backed and actually completed this Deathbringer, which will only practically double their damage output. And now, I don't know if this Valyouuu is stoppable anymore, as Valyouuu gets taunted in the mid lane, mid-man being there as well, but pretty safe pick as the the Gilgamesh obviously is, so we'll get out for now. Grouping up around this fire giant, though, will they pull it is the question. Yes, they will. Ballsy call, if you ask me, with everyone being alive. But do they even notice it as Fire Giant is very low already? Fire Giant is actually already dead. Kingslayers nowhere to be found. Midman in the air will fall down with the rest of his team. As now, Banana being picked out will die. And this is a 4-man team with Fire Giants, not even 20 minutes in.
And, you know, you were saying it might have been a bit early, but already a 7,000 gold lead for Life of the Afterparty before that Fire Giant even fell. And that lead is only going to balloon from this point. As we see, already almost hit 10,000 gold. That's 3K in under the course of a minute.
Square, oh, does get seen, and now you're in trouble, buddy. You will not survive this all year. What a bounce indeed, as how he was smelling blood and will get blood for their 6th kill this game. They are looking very good, as Square overstepped their welcome a little bit. Probably didn't think anyone would be there as they just got fire, but how wrong they were. And now you're looking once again at a 4v5 where the enemy team has fire.
One trick steps up.
Yeah,
will be able to make his way out, but already a 10,000 gold lead for Life of the Afterparty. And before we had the time to kill changes in Smite, your goal as a carry was to be level 20 by minute 20. We've had the time to kill change. The game has slowed down. That's been in effect for quite a while now. Marge, 20 at 20. Just shows how effective they've been.
Banana throwing out the pillars as the polymorph comes out as well. Midman in the air. This is scary. Midman in the air will fall down as Uller one trick will get the ult up on LoneWolffe. LoneWolffe in a bit of trouble here. Under Phoenix's Square gets the ult out as well. Yuan getting his ult out as well. A lot of low health bars on Life of the Afterparty now. Valyouuu jumping in, really wants this LoneWolffe as Midman already fell down towards. And Square getting a kill on this Valyouuu. That must feel so good after being killed 6 times to finally get that revenge kill back. And this is big for the Kingslayers as they kill two of the, well, the 2 biggest issues they had with Life of the Afterparty, getting their Fire Giant down, and now they might look at a bit of aggression themselves.
I mean, but has the damage already been done to the Kingslayers? They are currently sitting at about a 10,000 gold deficit. I mean, Fire Giant's still on 3. All of your towers are down. Phoenix is exposed in all lanes. This is such a hard spot to come back from, even after such a good defense put up by the Kingslayers. This is going to be a really tough hill to climb for the Order side team.
Square gets a tier 1 tower back though, as they're looking now at this Gold Fury. I don't think anyone is here as the pillars come out as well, so it gets confirmed even faster. Kingslayers getting this Gold Fury for relatively free if you do not count the Ganesha ult, which of course is a big resource, but with having a bit of cooldown reduction as well in their build, it will come up sooner rather than later. And I think Kingslayers, they are like very far behind as you say, but they're doing everything they can to get back into this game.
Yes, definitely. I think the real test for the Kingslayers will be this next Fire Giant fight. They've been doing everything they can to stay in it, but if they're able to get some of these characters to level 20, start upgrading their starter items, and make a show up to Fire Giant, I think that'd be their best option to play in this game.
As the polymorph comes out, and now Valyouuu looking in a lot of trouble as IamFinnaNut gets the kill on the Kraken here. And no, oh no, Midman ulting in, not finding Wingman though, as he has the safety of this Yuhang going up in the air being damaging you. But now underneath Phoenix. Phoenix is already being pulled. They do have a trebuchet to help defend off. LoneWolfFTW in a lot of trouble here. Will get picked off. And that's the washing machine for you. That the ultimate from Qing Shen here. Just massively for this team fights, throwing someone under Phoenix, keeping them there for so long. You do not survive.
And right now, if I'm Kingslayers, I'm headed towards that fire giant. It's flashing. Value's gonna be up in about 12 seconds. 15 seconds after that, LoneWolfFTW will be up, and I imagine she may have ult by that point. Uh, Maybe not, looking at the cooldown of it, but she'll be able to teleport in. I kind of feel like you want to press this advantage of having that 4v5 while you still have it. But LoneWolfFTW will be up soon, so I don't know how much longer they'll have that advantage for.
It's actually Life of the Afterparty who are pulling this fire giant. It's already below half. It's being burned so fast with this Howdy over there. Midman going into the air as Life of the Afterparty actually confirming. And now Square is looking in a lot of trouble. Sehost on top of it. Aegis being forced out, but gets the kill regardless. Uller one third in the backline also being very low. Howdy, one basic, will get it. Sehost himself now in no trouble whatsoever as he gets the double kill. And now Wingman, Aegis being forced, being very low, and you're so slow after that one by Midman. Outplaying for now as in the background Banana falls down. Last person of Kingslayers is this Wingman as he finally will fall down. And are you thinking what I'm thinking, Joy? That might be game 2.
I looking at the death timers, 5 with Fire Giant on Life of the Party, that has got to be the game.
That might be one of the fastest games we have seen all year here in week 6. 25 minutes as Life of the Afterparty take game 2 out of the best of 3. That's 2-0. GG's to them. Actually, Fire not dead yet. They're a bit BM waiting for kills maybe. The Square respawns. Square will fall down. I don't know about that one, but now they do finish. 25 minutes and 57 seconds on the clock. GG.
Yeah, what a set from Life of the Afterparty. They really had control of that set for almost most of it. A couple mid-game hiccups, getting a little too aggressive onto some Phoenixes, but outside of that, Life of the Afterparty really just had a hold on this game. And I mean, Marge just was so huge in this entire set. I mean, 8 kills and only 1 death. Poor Square was under duress constantly from LoneWolfFTW and Midman. I kind of wish Valyouuu might have shown a bit more presence over in the duo lane, given how this game was going.
Yeah, I just think at one point there was no saving in this duo lane anymore, as this Hauyi had a 5-level lead at the most. And I don't think anyone, even with a 5-man gank, I don't know if you're stopping that. Because this Hauyi was doing numbies. Like you were saying, he was already level 20 at 20 minutes in the game. And an absolute monster, as well as Midman on this horse being an absolute menace all around the map, having that high mobility on the ultimate. Lovely to see. It was a really good game from Life of the Afterparty. But GG's as well to the Kingslayers, though. I enjoyed this match. I hope you did as well. I've been Jeffrey. I was here together with Joy and iNooblet on camera. Thank you so much for watching.